Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
Good morning. Welcome to the All Sports, All Plays Network and the College Breakdown Show. I am Ray Cruz. I'm going to be bringing in my guest host right now, Dre Montez. What's up, brother?
What's going on, boss man? How you been?
I've been good, man. How you been?
Oh, better than good. Enjoying vacation. I have a month left in a few days, but other than that, it's going fantastic, man. Can't complain.
That's good. That's good to hear, man. Good to hear. But I see you got your Gators hat on. We're going to be talking about the SEC, the ACC, the Big Ten. First off, to start off this new year here, we're going to broadcast here live today and the 5th on the August. I think it's the 5th, I think. Let me see what the next broadcast date is.
We're getting close to that time of year, though, man. Getting close.
Yeah.
Not so fast.
It'll be the 3rd of August, and then the 10th, we're going to take a break because I will be doing my big give for my church organization. We give back to the community. And
when are you doing that again?
That's going to be August 10th.
August 10th.
So we won't do it. Yeah, we will have that week off.
Yeah, I have 2 more trips, and then I'm all in. I have one
okay.
The 11th through the 13th, and then the 20th through the 27th. Then I'm done.
Okay.
Then I'm back all in 100% every Saturday.
Yeah, see, it'll be the 3rd. We will be off the 10th. We come back the 17th, the 24th, and the 31st.
Okay.
Of August. And then continue on right down to the end of college football season, man. So we're gonna be all in here. We are all in. All righty. We're gonna get started right quickly here with the new college rules for the 2024 season. They came up with some good rules trying to enhance some of the NFL concepts into this thing here. First, this will be the first time in college football history a 2-minute warning will be implemented. This will occur in both the second and fourth quarter, similar to the NFL. The introduction of these rules is not expected to result in additional TV timeout. So give me your thought on that 2-minute warning rules for the second and fourth quarter in college football now.
I think over the years, there's been a lot of discrepancies when it comes to time of possession. That last 5 minutes of the half, last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, not just the 2 minutes. There's been some mistakes made with officiating as far as devices. We know Wi-Fi is not the most reliable way. We know what's going on the sideline. So there's a lot of discrepancies. I can see the NCAA saying, okay, maybe this is a better option to get the best results of the game. We're tired of blaming on the officials. We're tired of blaming on the equipment. Let's just settle this and have it this way. That way it's out the way. I like it. I just hope it doesn't get out of hand.
Yeah, I understand that too. And then now this is an interesting thing to go on with here. It's going to try to implement some of the delay of games, trying to get the plays into good. Is the helmet communication in college football now. Another major change is the introduction of direct helmet communication at the FBS level. This will allow one player on each team to wear a helmet equipped with a communication device marked by a green sticker with the communication will be cut off when there are 15 seconds left on the play clock, mirroring the NFL system.
Yeah, okay. I like that too. We're keeping that window of communication and that window wide open. There's no excuses. I didn't get it, play. I didn't hear you, coach. Well, Bobby got the backup. Hakeem got the backup system. So now there's more, I guess, quote unquote, finger point can go along or around the way when it comes down to not getting the correct play, in which I still have a problem understanding with all the signs and the hand signals and the eye contact and the obvious using your vision. I don't understand the discrepancy discrepancies at some times, but now we got all these kids coming out of these different offensive schemes and these offensive coordinators and play callers trying to be the new hot boy this college football season. So I do get that, but keep it as simplistic as it can be for the kids and the viewing eyes watching.
Yeah, true. That's a good thing too. But I mean, now will that cut down more of this delay a game, implementing a little bit more of not calling these timeouts when they can't get the plays in? You know how they back in the past, normally they couldn't get some of the plays in, they have to call a timeout. So now that's going to give them more advantage in a competitive way of not having to call these additional timeouts.
You know, I get that on both sides with the timeouts, because the timeouts do get out of hand. You should know when you're going in a hostile environment, knowing the level of competition and the fans, to have a backup system on getting the plays in there. So that right there is 101 of QB school right there to me. And then, as I just said before in the previous statement, that hand signals and signs are legal in college football. I don't know why they ran away from that, but this should cut back on the timeouts. The timeouts are out of hand. Delay a game, I give you that. Again, in hostile environment and level competition is on point. But for the most part, this is still trying to get that competition to keep going instead of having that downtime in college football. We want to keep the game going, keep the pace up, keep the fans in it. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and that's another thing too with these new implemented change rules. The next one is something that I have really, I don't know, considered or anything. Is called uniform violations. The NCAA is considering a new rule where teams will receive a warning for uniform violation. If subsequent an offense occurs, a timeout will be charged to officiating to offending teams. So now they're going to take away timeouts on uniform violations. And that's like with the wrong numbers coming in, you know, have duplicate numbers on the field. Like the punt returners, sometimes they change their numbers and, you know, have duplicate numbers on the field. So that kind of violation right there will subsequent a team losing a timeout. So, I mean.
And also these young kids like adding swag to the uniform. Everybody has this poster at some point when they played any level of sports. Any level of sports, there was a poster or a diagram that showed you how you're supposed to wear or don your uniform. There's always something. But now there's so much swag out there. Kids are adding their own thing that's not NCAA approved. Nobody knew about this. It was on the field, in the game moment. Now the team is being penalized. They're asking coach questions in game. Coach don't know what the hell going on. And it could put the player in a situation. Now you think this game is about you instead of teamwork. I don't want that to happen as it has happened in years past.
Yeah, that's true too. I get that. That's something that's very interesting too. And that kind of rules. I mean, I think the NCAA is trying to go more business-like, since it's now a business, not more like a college football team now with the new NIL. So
they're selling the product, and the product must look the way we are selling this product. It's called a uniform process. We're all going to look alike on this team. We all going to look exactly alike. That's how we come in here together, and we selling this as a package deal.
Yeah,
just
that's
like
true too.
We all got to look alike.
All right, the college football playoff expansion, while not a rule change per se, but it's worth noting that the college football CFP system will expand to 12 teams bracket starting in 2024 season. These changes are part of the NCAA ongoing effort to monetize college football and make it more consistent with professional standards.
I don't think it's still going to stop the water cooler talk, the barbershop talk. They want more and more. Nobody said a thing from the 70s to the late 90s about the format of college football in deciding national champion. Then when the level of competition got to a point, hold on, it's not just one-legged horse in this race no more. Other teams are getting better. Let's come up with a point system. Then they bitch and complain and criticize about the BCS. But when you look at it, did the BCS get it right each and every time? Yes, it did. Now we went to the college football format. Unfortunately, people get butthurt if they lose one game. And we talk about this each and every time across the board in college football. It's when you lose that game, who you lose to. Those two things are key. You can do all the screw up you want in August and September. Once October gets here, mistakes are gone. It's out the way. So now they want to implement, well, let's get some more teams in here to make this thing go right. Because no matter what nobody say, they're still pissed about what happened to Florida State and the way the Huskies ended up in that game. You're not going to please everyone, college football fans. And I have a new group out there, Ray, that we got to start talking to. They're called NARPs, non-athletic real people. This is their time of year to shine. I'm talking about the people that never played sports. I'm not talking about you didn't excel well, you didn't win anything, you never got in the game. I'm talking you never played sports, but your kids do. And you're not the one in the house that they're listening to, but you know things statistically and from an observing standpoint. There's nothing wrong with that. But I have found out this new group, they do know what they're talking about, and I call them NARPs, non-athletic real people. They do exist, and I respect their opinions. But I want to see how long this 12-team format lasts this time. Let's see how long this lasts.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit too, because you brought up an interesting point about these narcs out there talking non-athletes, talking about what this college playoffs should be. Let's talk about this one little thing here that I have noticed. Matt Rule said earlier this week in a thing saying that he thinks the Big Ten should have 4 teams in. Right off the bat, before even the season started, he thinks the Big Ten should have 4 teams in. What is your take on how they're going to do that? How will they do it? Because the ACC's got new teams in, so that some of these teams are not going to help blossom the ACC. SEC's got more of a blossom roster now. We're adding Texas and Oklahoma in, and then you got all the Pac-12 teams that moved into the Big Ten. So I
don't see a move coming like what Mizzou did when Mizzou came into the SEC. I don't see that type of performance coming out of any of these teams that made a conference change or shift. The Big Ten on hand and the way that Matt Rule has been getting that response, to me, he hasn't done shit. Nebraska has not been relevant since the corn explosion, that crazy storm about 4 years ago. The volleyball team has been more relevant. The wrestling team has been more relevant than the football team. And that's Black Shirt U. Nebraska is not relevant. Nobody's respecting what Matt Rule has said. Now, if they were coming from a Matt Rule that's been with the Nebraska team and they've done something bowl-wise, done something to make an effort toward the playoff tree, okay, we'll listen in. But until then, crickets. And what 4 teams do you want in the Big Ten? What is the draw for the Big Ten right now? Other than women's volleyball, what is the draw for the men in football? What's the draw? Make this school change their conference and go to the Big Ten. What's their sales pitch?
I don't know yet, because Big Ten style football is going to change because you got Oregon now, who's not a typical Big Ten offense. It's more of a spread type offense, a fly up and down the field offense. So now that's going to change a little bit of how the defense is going to react. And we'll get back into the Big Ten and SEC and ACC talk here in a moment, when we talk about the new teams additions and what is causing the problems with the ACC and the SEC and travel and all that. So we're going to get all that here coming up here momentarily. But let's just finish up these rules here. So at all these new changes, the 2-minute, the helmet communication uniform violations, do you think the NCAA's got it right for the 2024 season?
No, no one's going to get it 100% right. They got to follow this data. They still have not really given us the true progress report on the NIL. I still have my hand raised. I still got a note into the teacher. All kind of questions on the board for that. Now, with the viewership and the rule changes, I want to see how this is going to work. Because I think the first group of NARPs they're going to piss off is the streaming people. The second group of people they're going to piss off is people your age and my age that miss the golden days of college football, of things how it used to be. But due to the speed of the game and the fact kids ages 12, you heard what I said, kids ages 12 to 30 run shit now. They want it faster pace. They want it now. And they're not waiting till tomorrow. So all these new coaches are trying to win now. And I can't wait till we get on to talk about them Ducks, because I got a bit to tell you about them. But I think this right now is showing me that the NCAA is at least listening to the younger audience, the fans, and the players, the people that make sure these stadiums are filled each and every week, the people that are getting in on the merch. They're finally listening to that and saying, okay, maybe they're all right. Let's try this for shits and giggles and see what happens. What's the worst thing that could happen? They get another Mizzou out of this. They get the game played at a pace where there's less penalties called. We get more competitive action, not like in the video game, but actual getting some real juice in these games to get not just, oh, I told you this was going to happen. But I like the way they're doing the rule changes. Not a lot, but it's some that of the true college football fan probably not going to like it the way NASCAR made its changes, the way all sports been making their changes. It's a little tough in the beginning because we've been so used to it this way for so long. But it's time to give something else another chance.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. These changes are not going to be 100%. I think they will go and look at these changes and see what they can do better next year, adding some more rules into it. They ain't got the freaking targeting rule down the pat yet.
See, because to me, that targeting rule is very, very, it's a split-second call. You can get rid of a kid, and we know how we dissect film in college football more than any other damn sport ever. We break shit down millisecond by millisecond. We zoom in, we zoom out, we turn around to see the MLC that we saw. Sometimes they get it right, but the majority of the time they've gotten those targeting calls wrong. So I don't know how to, the ones where they clearly leave their feet, okay, I got you. But if I'm coming off momentum and you're going with momentum and we happen to hit each other in a way that looks kind of weird to the officials, hold up, bro. Hold up. It's a lot of moving parts right there. Let's dissect this situation within an allotted amount of time where the viewer at home doesn't lose interest in the game, where Twitter doesn't go nuts for 5 minutes over them taking too long to make. But targeting is targeting. You leave your feet in a way to harm a player, you got to go. And I think more than one game should be done as we moving forward. There's too much film. There's too much verbiage. There's too much one-on-one. There's too much well-documented things to back up the side on, hey, we know what targeting can do for you moving forward. If you want to stay in this game or if you're going to leave that way, the data is not good.
Yeah, true. That's another good thing here. So we're going to finish up this little segment on the NCAA change in rules. To me, I think they got it right a little bit here for the 2024, adding the 2-minute warning to helmet communications. I don't know about the uniform violation. I really don't see that with that is a very major detail, really.
Well, your shirt out and you got excessive towels on and you got something written on your shoe. That's a uniform violation. They know how to wear a uniform by now in NCAA. They know by now what a uniform infraction is. Even the coaches know. Whoever don't know who's on the field by numbers, we're relieving you of your duties. Joey, go give me a student athlete right now to get over here and do this. It's all about communication, right? It's all about communication. They keep telling us college football is fast. We know that. We know it's fast. You've been knowing this since the beginning of time. There's too much technology out there right now to make the mistakes that college football has been making when it comes to uniform violations to me in the past 4 years. There's too much technology out there. You should know your players, coach.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into the ACC and the new team addition for that, and we'll get that in here momentarily when we come back for the All Sports, All Plays College Breakdown Show, #1 for season #4. We're getting it started here early in the season. We'll be right back.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Welcome back to the All Sports, All Plays Network College Breakdown Show. Here with my name is Ray Cruz and Dre Montez. Will be right there, man. We're back here for the ACC 2024 new edition. All right, the ACC added Stanford, California, which is now short abbreviated for Cal, which everybody knows. Southern Miss University, Methodist University, SMU. All added on to the ACC to make it a 17-team league. With the addition of Stanford, Cal, and SMU, how does the ACC look now with those three teams here?
Hey, that's a lot of smart schools now when it comes to technology and moving the game forward. I like the addition for Stanford because they've been on the bottom of the pile for some years here. Been a struggle in that recruiting, been a struggle out there, been a struggle. I think they got caught up in technology and forgot about what's going on the gridiron at Stanford. Now, with Cal was having some good little recruiting runs out there in California. They really were getting some good kids from California as well as Utah in that football program moving forward. I don't know what happened in the past few years, maybe something in coaching or recruiting situation, or maybe a little stagnant on the NIL deals. I like that. SMU, Southern Methodist University, for them, I think this could be a really positive move for them as a school and as a unit to get in notoriety back and being in a conference such as the ACC. It's not the pressure of the SEC. It's not the pressure of the Big Ten, the Big 12, and the Pac-12. It's a welcoming mat for a program such as SMU. Out of those three, I don't see no one coming in, knocking down the door saying, hey, I'm here. Let me go ahead and whoop some ass. But I think it's interesting for those three teams, considering what those programs have been through to me. I mean, quickly have fallen. The Cardinals have fallen to me in the eyes of college football. And Cal was right there in that talk of being a consistent participant in some high-profile bowl games. And we all know that SMU has been trying to get back on the board, been having some problems with recruiting and holding on to those recruits. So hopefully this will be a good spin and good twist for the ACC, man. It's been an exciting conference, not just basketball and soccer anymore, or baseball for that matter, but in football, the ACC is doing something on Saturdays and put some pretty nice household names out there on Sundays when it comes to going to work on that day in football. That's what I think. How you feel about your world's greatest football conference, Ray?
I don't know, but it doesn't make no sense to call the ACC anymore Atlantic Coast Conference. It should be called the Atlantic Central Pacific Conference. That's what it should be called now. Because that's what it covers now a wide brand. But I look at it this way here, too. What you talk about, Stanford brings in the rich football tradition and a strong academic reputation for the ACC, but known for producing some NFL talents, maintaining a competitive team. The Cardinal will be opening their ACC play against Virginia Tech, a strategic move to build an excitement on the campus. That's one thing. Analysis on this is Stanford football has experienced ups and downs in recent years, but their strong recruiting base in California, committed to athletes, suggests that they could quickly become a competitive force in the ACC, but their games against traditional ACC power will be highly anticipated this season. Now, Cal, on the other hand, too, joining it, another academic institution. So now it's going to get more ACC, more academic, say in the conference a little bit more. Could bring up the academics ratings a little bit. for that conference too, and with these two teams. Their inclusion part of the ACC strategy to expand its footprints on the West Coast. I still don't understand, because when we get to the analysis of breaking down what this entails, how this is going to entail to the ACC, it's going to be the logistics of travel and all this stuff and how to get
travel
these
is
teams.
going to be another thing. I'm just thinking about that off the top of my head from California. But I mean, that's more travel on them than anything. The kids coming from the left coast. That's
then you got the SMU coming to ACC out of the American Athletic Conference, the AAC. The Mustangs have been an upward trajectory. The SMU has a good program all the way up to that death penalty, and then they have slammed back, and now they're trying to build that program back up again.
Trying to rebrand and rebuild.
So that's a little bit to me. Now, what we talk about here, the impacts on the ACC, this is the one impact that we both mentioned here was the travel. The ACC new schedule model effectively from 2024 to 2030 will feature no division. Instead, the top two teams based in the conference win percentage will play the ACC championship game, which is started last year, basically. Each team will play 8 conference games per season. That's ensuring all 17 teams will face each other at least twice, once at home and once on the road over the next 7 years. Now, the analysis on this, the model is aimed to balance competition and travel demands. For instance, current ACC members will only travel to the West Coast 3 times in 7 years, minimizing the impact of long-distance travel. The approach is designed to maintain competitive fairness and reduce travel fatigue.
So, I'm quite sure those shoes they've been trying to push for athletes to wear on these plane rides going to make a real big impact. I don't know if you saw that. It's been floating around at different and various sporting events when athletes are in their relaxing mode. They look like high-top shoes. They're like comfort shoes, supposed to do something very aromatherapy on your foot and neuropathy on your foot, whole 9 thing. That's got to come into play. Because that's a lot of miles to be traveling for me to go out there and play ball. And go to school? Come on now.
Yeah. And then now on top of all that, with the travel and planes and all that going, you talking about West Coast, East Coast. You talk about North Carolina going all the way out to Stanford, going out to Cal. You got Cal coming to Duke. You got Cal, Stanford coming into NC State. And then you got it up north a little bit. So you're traveling all now you're looking at the projection of travel. You're going from south to north to west to central.
That's wild.
So I don't know. That's just a little bit.
Who did this?
Now, expanding the conference will likely see more parallel potential for upsets and new rivalries, but the strength of schedule will be a crucial factor in determining college football playoff contenders from the ACC. So now that ACC has to go out and not more like what the SEC done. It's because the SEC is known as a football powerhouse conference and the Big Ten. Right. Now the ACC has have to put their schedule more strategically and getting more teams to play more dominant teams to get them in that playoff contention again, where they used to be. Now that's just gone out of the windows with the SMU and stuff like that.
I think it's also the parents probably like this. A lot of kids that that grew up in Carolina that go to school on the left coast. I bet they like that a whole lot, and vice versa. A lot of kids that go from California and going to school in the Carolinas. I bet the parents are liking it, and the family members and friends as well from that standpoint. See, I'm turning sensitive. I'm thinking about families and friends now, seeing kids play other than just the competition of the game. I think this is good for the ACC overall. The SMU, I really like that. If I was them, I would redesign and rebrand the whole uniform if I was them. I'd come out with a whole new look, whole new swag if I was them.
Yeah, I would too. That's a little bit of a thing, but the conclusion of this is you expanded 17 teams, 2024 with the inclusion of Stanford, Cal, and SMU. This marks a shift in college football landscape, but these additional brings new competitive dynamics, expand geographic reach, and increase excitement for fans. Now, with this adding in the West Coast, recruiting, will this also help now North Carolina, NC State, Duke to go out to the West Coast and grab some of these West Coast talent now, since you're now tapped into that West Coast area?
Yeah, I think now, man, that when it comes to recruiting, now with the shift in the conference play, the shift in the addition in teams, all of that, the exposure, the TV deals. Hell, the CW has a TV deal now. So I think now the marketability of the game is at its highest point right now, at its highest point. I think recruiting should become a little bit more easier now for coaches to get to those players that they otherwise would have gotten to 4 or 5 years ago. But now they're going to have that opportunity to get to these players. I like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got that kind of the jog going into that area there. But finishing up with the ACC here, what we talked about mostly is the travel situation, the settings, the stage for an excitement, unpredictable season. This first year with this new landscape for the ACC, now you got to figure out how this is going to play out. And now with the new rules of the ACC, as your number one and number two best teams in the league going to play for the ACC Conference Championship. Now, will that make the ACC now to figure out moving the championship games out to the West Coast to alleviate some of this stuff, or are they going to try to keep it in the Carolinas again?
Who got the prettiest bells and whistles stadium to get? That's where I would put it. We're going to the most popular place to sell this thing. And let one of the teams make it to the championship that's new to the conference now, right? Now we're getting to the grits and cheese of the matter right here. Let one of those 3 teams make it to the conference championship. You better put that on one of the best stages that can be on that happen. Let someone pull a Mizzou when they came to the SEC. Let that happen. And have some high-profile players that get in some statues with a good name in front. Let that happen.
Now, with those 3 schools added, do you see any of what ACC team right now do you see projected to go into that college football playoff picture?
Hey, man, the way Carolina has been playing the past few years, they are very high on my radar. That football program has shocked me, and I've watched more ACC football in the past 3 years, thanks to you, that it has opened my eyes not to just be so one-sided with my observation just because a team I don't like in basketball, I shouldn't just ignore the football program. So I opened my eyes up to the ACC, and I like their style of play, their pace of play, and those guys that have left that are now playing on Sunday. So I'm thinking very highly of the Carolina Tar Heels this football season.
Yeah, we'll get into that discussion about it. But right now, I think the ACC is probably in the middle of the Power 5 conference right now between they're part of the last part. You got the SEC's part on number 1, Big Ten's my number 2, ACC's part of number 3. Out of all that right now,
still not a bad spot. And you got 17 schools in there. Those are not like the strongest competitive teams that get in the conference, but those are still good 3 teams to have in their conference to bring what they're bringing to the table. Not just the history of those teams, but the players that they have now and the players that they already recruited. And the eyes are going to be on that and this conference.
Now, the ACC, we talk about the West Coast Conference, West Coast area for recruiting. Now that brings the ACC into Texas, trying to get some of these Texas recruits out of the, powerhouse Texas high school programs. So now you're developing the ACC into that Texas area, which Mac Brown has some very good success at it for North Carolina recruiting in Texas himself. But now you open it up to all the ACC schools like Duke, NC State, Syracuse, Pitt, all going into the West Coast and now to the Central Texas area. How will that affect some of the Texas recruiting?
In the words of Bobby Bowden, when someone questioned him about somewhere recruiting in Florida. And Bobby Bowden said, that's just like trying to sell alcohol on a Sunday in South Carolina. You got to go through a whole lot to do that. So I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a challenging thing, a new language for Carolina teams to go into Texas and recruit. That's like Florida going into Georgia and recruiting. You got to, that's a different lingo. You don't have to kiss ass, but you got to know what you're talking about. You can't be scared. You got to be confident. You got to be the biggest person on the planet that day when you recruit in that area of Texas. It's not going to be easy, but the way these TV deals are going, NIL, and the transfer portal, and the emergency of win now in college football, everybody wants to go where they can win and shine it now, right? They want to go now. Nobody wants to sit down behind a freshman. Nobody wants to get red shirt. They take a medical red shirt, and they're probably still pissed off about that. Nobody wants to be a 5-year player no more. They have a 2 to 3 year plan. Then they see themselves either out of football or in the league, in the movies on Tubi or Freevee TV or on a social media platform. That's how they're deeming this now.
Yeah, that is true. All right, let's move right into the SEC now. The new addition to SEC, Texas Longhorn and Oklahoma Sooners.
Welcome.
So now you bring in the Red River shootout rivalries into the SEC. So now it gives you another nucleus of rivalries to go along with the Alabama and Auburn rivalry and all that stuff, and the Georgia-Florida rivalry, which are the three significant dominants of rivalries in one conference.
Right.
Now with the add of Texas and Oklahoma to this mix, and Nick Saban leaving Alabama. Now, so now, what do you see? How will Texas and Oklahoma suit into the SEC now this season?
I think the biggest question everybody wants to know, who's the real UT? Who's going to be the real UT when this is all said and done this season, moving forward, after 5-year data analysis on this shift in the SEC? I want to know who's the real UT. I want to know that. Oklahoma, I'm glad. This is what they wanted. The way they move with Lincoln Riley and all that shit happened, this is what you want. This is exactly what you get. You wanted you got all that money to do all these fabulous things coaching-wise. Now, here you go. Let's see what you got. Let's go. Let's get it. This is going to be one of the most talked about realignment additions in college football this year, the SEC. We all know the level of competition, the expectation. We know who just left. Everybody's daddy, Coach Saban. Okay, boss. Who's next man up? Who's next man up now, and what are you going to do to change the standard or keep the standard in SEC where nobody turns away or we bring more people in? We cannot screw this thing up. But will the real UT stand up this year in the SEC?
Yeah, and then you talk about this. This is a thing that's interesting. When you bring in Oklahoma and Sooners, the expansion will bring the total teams to 16 and will introduce a new non-divisional schedule format since 1991.
Bring it. Keep
So what do you think about that?
The SEC has to be creative. We've been spoiled for so long. We've given away so much, and we've lost a lot when it comes to visibility, product output. We have other conferences that are trying to compete with our luster, with our swag, getting bigger recruits than us, than the SEC. Other household names are getting these talents that are normally be in the SEC. So the SEC, to me, has a lot to prove this year, not just by the schedule, by the output, bowl outcome, and being in that playoff tree of one of the 12 teams or multiple teams from the SEC. That's the big picture of the SEC with the addition of these teams this season. We must do better. The expectations for the SEC are so high it's off the board.
Now, I got a question for you here. Since you're the SEC expert, Florida Gators, and all this stuff here, is the SEC wide open now? Is there a dominant team in the SEC like years past, like Alabama, Georgia? Is this wide open now since you added Texas and Oklahoma into the mix?
I don't think it's wide open. I think right now Georgia is the top runner. The way Georgia has opened up to be running back youth for the next 5 to 6 years, nobody's touching it. They have taken over as far as football talent. The best talent has been coming out of the state of Georgia probably for the past 10 years. And they're staying home. They're staying home. Now that coaching up and getting on the field, that is the problem because it's so many of them. They got to figure out how to get this talent on the field and let it be productive and not let it get into park and neutral. They got to keep this energy spinning. I don't want this portal to be like a bunch of subways and metro trains and airlines and all this moving kids back and forth each and every week. No. Everything is not going to work the first time going in this season. We know that. But if they give it time and people understand the process of this, what the NCAA is trying to do with the realignment of these conferences, I think it work out for everybody. The programs, the coaches, as well as the players. And the fans really going to get a kick out of it because it's going to go our way. Our team is going to be back in the news of the day. We're finally going to hear about that kid we've been telling everybody about in Pop Warner football 5 years ago. There you go right there. Now that's starting to happen a little bit more and more often than it did 10 years ago with that rush and that push to win now. I still think UGA is the top dog. Other than that, we've already had some offseason issues with a lot of programs in the SEC. So still trying to see how they're going to rebuild and rebrand from players who are going to lose in the early part of the season, players that have opted out, and players that they don't know what's going to happen because there's still legal situations going on. There's about 8 teams in the SEC that have over 105 players in legal ramifications that could affect the first 3 to 4 weeks of the college football season. So we got to keep an eye on that as well.
That is true too. And you're dealing with Texas here. Texas is, if you look at what Texas does here, Texas consistently being able to track top-tier talents from across the country. Their recruiting process expects to continue, even improve with Laura playing the SEC. But the Texas firepower offense, it's going to have some consistent players in development, the mixture of talent. Brock Yours back with, Archie Manning in the standing of the backup proceedings. Texas got a far more power, on the offensive side that SEC is really going to have to consist with. But it's also going to be on the hands of the quarterback, Brock Yours, to stay healthy. He has not stayed healthy all season the last 2 years. Can he be – now you got the dominant pass rushing defenses in the SEC. You can put a lot more pressure on their offense and putting more hits on Brock Yours. Can he stay healthy for the year for Texas and help them win this conference?
That's it. Health issues have hurt Texas program to me more than anything, especially, say it with me, kids, the month of November. That is the most difficult month for University of Texas to me. And that health issue, because they have it's like, attention college football. It's great if you can make it through the whole season with your starting quarterback. But look here, the speed and the size that these kids have today, you got to have at least 2 to 3 people ready each and every game. 2 to 3 people need to be ready. I understand that's your starter, believe in your starter, but the way they are attacking the interior of the college football line from the defensive standpoint, I'm telling you right now, you better get some sumo wrestlers on the line and protecting in, or we're going to be what? Injured.
Yeah.
No one's going to make it.
And this is another thing, too. The challenge is adjusting the SEC play. The SEC is known for its physical, competitive nature. Texas will need to adapt quickly week in, week out, granted, for the conference to schedule. But the defense, historically, Texas has issues with defensive consistency. Improving their defense will be crucial for the success in the SEC. So you hit that on the point there. That's some of my key points there. Now, let's go to the other side of the Red River Shootout in Oklahoma. Oklahoma Sooners. are another powerhouse program joining the SEC, known for their high-scoring offense and strong recruiting, but they are expected to be competitive from the start. Quarterback play, Oklahoma has a tradition of producing elite quarterbacks. The projection rising star Jackson Arnold is expected to lead the team and could be a game changer. Recruiting success like Texas, Oklahoma has a strong recruiting base and has been successful in attracting top talent. But this trend is expected to continue in the SEC. Brent Venables last year had an okay season for Oklahoma. Does he turn Oklahoma's season around this season? Now joining the SEC, he's got another some more, see how good his defense really is against top tier SEC throughout the whole year now.
An okay season for OU should be a t-shirt. Good job on that, Ray. Oh, Mr. Venerable. He has great ideas and high expectations for OU, but when realization kicks in, second week in October, it seems they have a hiccup. I think OU is one of those teams that once they get down on themselves in a game, that's it. I don't know how to keep them in a game and let them know, hey, you're only down by 2 points. You got a whole quarter to play. You're still in this game. And then they do the unthinkable when they start looking ahead. When teams look ahead, you can tell in the pregame interview, talk, body language, featured story player. You can tell then if they just take it week by week and game by game, OU could play a lot better football to me because the expectations are very high. Very, very high for OU. They've had the talent. They've had the coach. The injury bug has not hit them like Texas. I can't get in that fight right there. No. It's been poor as play. You lost the game. The players dropping the ball before you cross the goal line. Showboating. You cost me 30 yards on an extra point. We lose by 1. Make it make sense to me, Ray.
Yeah. If you look at this now, if you look at the challenges of Oklahoma in 2024, their schedule is challenging games against Tennessee, Alabama, and Texas. Navigating this tough schedule will be a significant test for the Sooners. Defensive improvements similar to Texas, Oklahoma will need to bolster their defense to compete with this high-level SEC conference. So now, right after the test, you're looking at Oklahoma is playing Tennessee, Alabama, and Texas on their schedule. So
get that honey-do list out the way before kickoff start this season, fellas. Get it out the way. Boy, women have it rough this past month. College football, now college football season about to start.
So now the impact on the SEC for the adding Texas and Oklahoma is expected to have a profound impact on the SEC. Schedule change in non-divisional format. The SEC will move to a non-divisional scheduling format, which means teams will not be split into the East or West division. The change aims to create a more balanced and competitive schedule for the ACC. 8-game conference schedule for the 2024 season. The SEC will adopt an 8-game conference schedule. The decision has been controversial, and there are discussions about moving to a 9-game schedule in the future.
Well. Basically, what that's telling us, class, is that the SEC wants to see how this thing works out competition-wise for the SEC. They don't want to come out of this thing looking bad. They want to realign this thing the right way, put the level of competition the right way. They want to make it make sense. So I agree with them on waiting before we put anybody in a category. Let's just figure this thing out first. I like that. Good job.
Now with the competitive balance
in a while.
With the competitive balance is increased competition. The addition of 2 strong programs will increase overall competitiveness of the SEC. Teams will face tougher opponents more frequently, which could impact on the standings and playoff implications. Now, with the recruiting battles, with Texas and Oklahoma in the mix, recruiting battles within the SEC are expected to intensify. This could lead to an even higher level of talents across the conference. Do you agree with that thing with the recruiting battles?
Say that one more time.
Recruiting battle within Texas and Oklahoma in the mix. Recruiting battles within the SEC are expected to intensify. This could lead to an even higher level of talent across the conference.
Texas and Oklahoma don't play nice. We know that. We've heard stories. We've heard rumors. We've heard the actual truth in this.
Well, you know, Texas is the richest university.
Their money, their endowment fund is just on a whole new level, right? And that's why I don't understand what happens in the month of November down there. They're not ready for the backup plan. What is wrong with them? Have a backup plan ready. I gotta give Texas the edge on this in the recruiting in Texas. They have that. They got that on lock.
Now my question is, Texas got their own freaking TV station. How's that going to work for the SEC now when they got their own Longhorn network?
and I peeped out that network too, man. They got some credible guys on that network, man. You want to do a Where Are They Now out there, college football fans, guys you thought about that were stars in college football, didn't make that much noise in NFL. Do it Where Are They Now? A lot of these guys are working for these networks on the sideline, and a lot of them are doing color commentating and in the studio. I like the fact they got that Big 12 network. I mean, Texas got their own network. I like that. With that much money, they need to. I'm not hating. I'm appreciating what they're doing. I'm appreciating.
Yep. All right, we're going to take another quick break. When we get back, we'll be talking about the Big Ten football in the 2024, their new edition, how they impact their conference. Stay with us on the All Sports All Plays Network. This is the All Sports All Plays College Breakdown. I am Ray Cruz, Dre Montez. We'll be right back.
All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Welcome back to the All Sports All Plays Network, the All Sports All Plays College Breakdown. I am Ray Cruz. I'm bringing Dre back on here momentarily. We're going to get ready to talk about the Big Ten 2024 new additions. So let's bring Dre up here. Hey, Dre, man.
What's going on, boss?
All right, let me get back to the dual screen here. There we go. Dual split screen. There we go. We got the dual split screen again here. My man, changing your hat, changing.
Yeah, got to represent my sponsor. Got to represent the sponsor.
Oh, you got sponsor caps now.
Yeah, Certapro Painters in Oklahoma, baby.
Hey, your sponsor wants to sponsor this program too, man.
I see what I can do, Ray. I see what I can do.
We can make banners going across everything else. You know, we can bring out their advertisement, add to freaking commercial roles, you know. Get a little bit more break there here. All right, the new addition for the Big Ten is UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington. What is your take on the new Big Ten football for the 2024 season?
I'm not going to do a Deshaun Foster. That was a classic introduction to the Big Ten committee that he did. That's called not being prepared, guys. That's called not being prepared. USC is trying to do what, kids? They're trying to become relevant again in college football. USC has too much history, the tradition, they're rich in culture, and they're having a problem not being connected with college football in the traditional ways it's used to. So this is a good start for USC. UCLA, UCLA, they're in a rebuilding process. I mean, from where that program was at 4 years ago to where we're at now, I'm scratching my head. Like, what was the purpose? When they hire these household name coaches, these coaches that have a winning pedigree, that come in there with a resume of a winning culture, and it gets to their school and it's not working. What was the verbiage in getting the job? You don't expect them to do the same thing they did there. You expect them to do better immediately. What is that window of the contract? If I sign a 4-year deal, I expect to get out 4 years and then add me another 2. But hiring coaches to do something for 8 to 10 years off the bat, you're out your damn mind. I think all coaches get a 4-year deal off the flip. That way the players, the university, and the alumni are not feeling like a bunch of fucking idiots. So I like the move for both of those schools, USC, UCLA. Next up, we got Oregon. Now I'm going to go Washington. What Washington did last year gave everybody in the believability, if I get hurt, that doesn't mean my football or sports career is over with. If I rehab the right way and get the right people around me, this doesn't have to end when I get hurt. That's what Washington gave people. Kids out there that are dealing with injuries right now, thinking it's over with. No, it's not. You watch that kid's story. No, it's not. On to Oregon. If you have not figured this out yet, America, nation watchers, sports fans of basketball and college football, if you have not figured out what Phil Knight is doing at 80-plus years old, he's putting everything into this Oregon Ducks football program. That's why Nike sales have dropped. That's why all that crap is going on with the USA basketball team. That's why those players were left off. If you're not with Nike, you can't be affiliated with them. And Oregon is trying to buy a national championship. Look at the players they picked up. Look at the NIL deals they have. They have taken the winning formula of competition and money, and if I take away everything you're worried about out the way and all you have to do is concentrate on football, watch what happens. You worried about your parents at home? Got it. I got them a job. You worried about your sister getting into that school? Don't worry about it. We're going to build a school named after them. We're going to take care of everything these kids are worried about back home. I don't want you worried about nothing but winning football, Oregon style. That's what Phil Knight is doing.
Yeah, I get you on that one too. But when you look at it here, this is some interesting things that are we looking at here for UCLA. They got key players to watch is their quarterback Dante Moore and a wide receiver in Jay Michaels Shudevant, who are expected to be pivotal UCLA offensive strategy. So that's going to give you some Big Ten defense some problems with them two cats and for UCLA. USC, they got to replace their quarterback Caleb Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner. They got to replace him. That's a big significant impact for USC. Their defense is how everyone needs to step up to handle the physical of the Big Ten opponents. Same thing with UCLA. They're not physical on the defensive side. They're going to have to become physical because now you're playing a physical style of football inside the Big Ten, So then you got University of Oregon, whose dynamic offensive paralysis is totally different going against the grain of the Big Ten. From the power running all the way down, now they're going to be spreading all over the field. How does the Big Ten defense that have not faced Oregon-style offense customize playing Oregon in a different style of play? Faster pace, up rhythm. But, again, Oregon's got to replace Bo Nix, the quarterback. So that's going to be a little bit of a thing for Oregon, too. So out of all these teams here, Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA, what teams really make the Big Ten conference really have an impact on the Big Ten the first year playing in the Big Ten?
Well, in my days of when you play a particular sport and your team is really, really good, but you go through this little drought of you're not losing a lot of games, but let's say you lost 4 games in 4 years. And those 4 losses, all 4 of those different teams had something very, very in common on how they were beating you. They played the same style of football, but you never caught on to it. So I think, and I applaud Oregon for attacking their weakness by going to the Big Ten. They're going where they were having problems at. That's what they're doing. They're attacking what they were having problems with offhand. That's rule number 1. I like that in a level field of competition. Good for them. Next up is Washington. I don't know how you top what you did last year. We've seen the speed of that team on all levels of the playing field when it comes to gridiron makeup, turf, grass, artificial. We've seen the speed of that team, the mindset of the coaches, how they can see things before it happened on defense. That comes instilled in the coaching and the players that they have. So I think that's an advantage point for them. But my still high regard is with Oregon. I can possibly see USC and UCLA on an uncomfortable place. They're not relevant in football. There's more talk about Bronny playing at USC than anything at USC. Maybe the women's basketball team with Juju. That's it. But they're not relevant in football. UCLA, they were relevant 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And that's not a common thing when it comes with those football programs. So this is a rebuilding, rebranding. Hey, I've been here before, but nice to see you again. I think that's how those two schools should take this season. Now, if they get lucky and come out the gate 4-0, 5-0, both of them respectively, okay, coaches, let's regroup. Now that we're coming out this way, let's go this way with it. Because I don't think no one is coming out with a plan of any of these teams that join these new conference. Just have a one-tunnel plan. Several options on the hand. You got to put that head on the swivel. If it goes this way, okay, we got to go this way, and this way. Vice versa across the board. But again, I go back to what you said. I can see Oregon taking full advantage of this and coming out of this thing on top. Maybe possible Washington, but I don't see USC or UCLA having a dent in this fight yet, probably for another couple of years.
Yeah, so I mean, again, they're eliminating the divisions again. They're eliminating divisions, all putting it back together in one. So that's going to make every game crucial for the Big Ten. But the Big Ten, with the implement of a flex protect model, which includes a combination of protect and rotating opponents, this model ensures that each team will play every other conference opponent at least twice over 5 periods of time. The schedule's format will help maintain traditional rivalries while also fostering new ones among the new and existing teams. Now, with Washington coming over, you mentioned the coaching staff. The head coach, Kellen DeBoer, from last year's team is out of Alabama. So now the whole new head coach Washington is coming into a new league at the same time. So now if you go back and look at the tapes of Washington of last year, could be a totally different Washington team of this year because of the new coaching staff.
But speed is speed. You can't deny speed. You can't shade it. If you're fast, you're fast. And Washington showed us that they're fast.
Now, this also another thing when we talk about the ACCs and the West Coast recruiting is expansion into the West Coast market of Los Angeles and Seattle will enhance the Big Ten's recruiting footstep and immediate exposure and geographic diversity. All attract top talents from across the country, increase the conference visibility on national level, including a high-profile program like USC and Oregon will also boost the Big Ten appeal to television network and sponsors.
Now, I don't know if you watch the Under Armour All-American football game or not, but what I watch, I look and see where the kids are from. It's some talent up there in that corner on the left coast. It's up there, that Seattle, all that up there in that corner. Coming all down there, there's nothing but football talent right there. Nothing but foot. And they got the size. They have the speed. And they got some decent football IQ coming in. They don't do the traditional questions at the Under Armour football, the high school edition. They don't do the typical, hey, glad you're here. What are you most excited to see? They talk football things about them. And that's what I like. Their football people talk to these kids about the next level of football, where they're headed to far as college. And I like hearing that conversation about the football mindset of these kids.
Yeah, that is true too. I mean, the Big Ten. So we discussed the ACC, the SEC, and the Big Ten. Out of these powerhouse conference that we started off with this week, we're going to add some more talk next week about different other conferences, adding teams and stuff like that. But with this powerhouse team, of these conference now. We know the SEC is probably number one. The Big Ten is going to be closely at number two. The ACC is coming a little bit down at number three at all this. But when we get into the Big 12 here, we'll talk about that next week. But right now, at all these competition here, how many teams out of each conference do you see in the 12-man field of the college playoffs?
On the three we just talked about today, the ACC, the SEC, and the Big Ten.
Yep.
I could possibly see one from the ACC. From the SEC, I could possibly see one, two, three, possibly four. The Big Ten, possibly one. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a little bit different than I have. I have four from the SEC. I have four from the Big Ten, and maybe one or two from the ACC. Maybe.
Okay.
Clemson and Florida State are part of the two I see out of that conference. Really,
I'm looking forward to see how Dabo's first four games are going to go, because he said a lot of hurtful things in the offseason to me that I think it's starting to trickle down. First, Hollywood started in their movies, then you see it in your own family, then you see it in neighbors and friends. When people hit a certain age, they start to say the most ridiculous shit known to man. And you say, did you go to sleep for 10 years, Rumpelstiltskin? I mean, time is moving forward. No one is staying stagnant here this whole time. And I think that's what Dabo got caught up in that. He's still caught up in that little 3-year run he had. He's still right there. He hasn't opened his eyes yet and went outside and realized there are other kids out here playing. He's not the only one. There are a few coaches like that that are afraid to move forward with recruiting and the way football is played today. 1950s to 1990s style recruiting does not work anymore. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. Those type of communication, that lingo doesn't work anymore. You can do it as a theme night, in your own family and friends, block party, the clubhouse down the street over at Bill and Nancy's house. But when it comes to getting kids into your program, you got to understand today's terminology and technology and communication. And you have these high-profile coaches that say, well, I'm not going to do it. Well, you're not going to get those players. The parents don't dictate where the kids go no more. I'm going to say it one more time. The parents do not dictate where these kids go no more for college football. These kids do.
Now, all right, I got one question here. Interesting thing you talk about Dabo and Clemson. Florida State's quarterback, DJ Ungalea, is now at Florida State. Moved from Clemson to Oregon State. Now he's at Florida State for this year.
What did you just say?
DJ Ungalea.
Okay.
Has gone from Oregon. It went from Clemson to Oregon State. Now he's from Oregon State back to Florida State for this football season. He could be the starting quarterback for Florida State this year.
He's trying to get his own way. We talked about this earlier in the show. Nobody has patience anymore. They don't want to hear realism. Coach, when I'm playing. Am I playing this? Am I starting, Coach? No. Well, I'm going to go somewhere else. Nobody wants to wait. Nobody wants to do that. You have a very select handful of collegiate athletes that are willing, that are understanding the policies and procedures and moving up the chain to get on that field, that are willing to wait it out, to understand how this thing works. I'm just a freshman. I was just in high school. I got it. What's the rush? My body's not even fully developed yet. I got it. Let me see the speed and flexibility and the timing of this game before I open my mouth and get hurt, get hit in the air too fast. Now I'm out for 3 years. And people wonder why I'm running 18 Subway stores. Well, I got hurt. Still success. There's nothing wrong with waiting your time. There's certain gifted athletes that, hey, Now is my time. There are a select few out there that get that, understand that, and football systems understand it too. There are select few that hit that rare pedigree, that stride we're looking for, that gets it IQ-wise, that understands the X's and O's of the game outside of football. They're rare and they're few of them because right now we have too many distractions outside of football that are affecting the kids on the gridiron, and it needs to be stopped.
Yeah. Now, out of all that right there, interesting stuff we went through the new for the ACC and stuff. Let's move down to the preseason rankings. You know, we talked about this last year that preseason rankings don't matter. We think the rankings should come out probably what the fifth or sixth week of conference of football play, so you really know what the teams are. You have 5 weeks of things, seeing what the teams are for this year. But for the sake of arguments, they came up with a not so
week
early.
0 is.
Yeah, we came up with a week so not early top 25. Number 1 is Georgia. Number 2 is Ohio State. Number 3 is Oregon Ducks. Number 4 is the Texas Longhorn. Number 5 is Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Number 6 is Ole Miss, the Rebels. Number 7, Missouri Tigers. Number 8, Penn State and Indy Lions. Number 9, Alabama Crimson Tide. Number 10 comes to Utah Utes. Number 11, Arizona Wildcats. LSU at number 12. At number 13, Michigan Wolverines. Number 14, Oklahoma Sooners. Number 15, Florida State Seminoles. Number 16, Tennessee Volunteers. Number 17, Oklahoma State Cowboys. Number 18, North Carolina State Wolfpack. Number 19, Clemson Tigers. Number 20, Kansas State Wildcats. Number 21, Louisville Cardinals. Number 22, Kansas Jayhawks. At number 23, Kentucky Wildcats. Number 24, Miami Hurricanes. And number 25, Texas A&M, the Aggies. That is your top 25.
Damn, I'm not even on the list. I didn't even make the list.
No, and the drop-offs, well, the just miss was they put the drop-off at Washington, SMU, and Iowa are the dropouts. Just miss is USC, Washington, SMU, Iowa, Wisconsin, West Virginia, Boise State, Air Force, and Liberty. So Florida Gators nowhere near in that top 20, 28.
Don't I know it, brother? This gonna be a rough year. I'm gonna take it. Maybe I'll dive deeper into college football statistically this year more than ever, outside of what I normally do. And by then, I would have had purchased the new college football game because I don't have it yet. So it's going to give me time to divulge into that because I don't think my Florida football game is going to have the type of year where I can be proud and put my chest out every week, but I'm still going to wear my colors. I'm still going to do my Gator challenge. I'm still going to talk that shit. Now, none of that's going to change. But reality did set in. I looked at the schedule. I looked at what we have. I don't know this coach yet. He has not answered my email or my phone calls. I faxed him 17 times, so we're still waiting on a response from somewhere. I've tried to call him on the red phone. There's been no answer yet. So when we get through to the coach, we're going to get some answers on the table about my Florida football Gators in this upcoming football season.
Yeah, and then we talk about the rankings here. With not so early rankings, that's what they got. Do you agree at number 24, Miami Hurricanes? Do you agree that they're going to have a better season than what they had last year?
So Miami falls into that injury, and what are we doing penalty-wise on the field? The behavior on the field has got to calm down. You haven't won shit in a long time, Miami. Nothing credible on the field, football-wise, has been done at that school or university in a long, long time. They have the talent. They have to be a top 20 team, to me. But they have other mitigating circumstances that really pushes them down. Attitude shows a lot. And that team has a lot of attitude. If they can just go out and play football, not 1980s and 90s and early 2000 Cane football. Play your style of Miami Cane football. Play your style. You can't beat those teams. You can't do nothing that those teams did that set the course for that phrase, them Canes. Nobody. That's not football today. That's a prison sentence that you've been kicked out of school and charges being brought against you. Nobody can play football that way anymore. They got to figure out a way to clean that shit up and still be intimidating. You can do that. You can discipline your kids without spanking them. Did you know that? Yep. You can scare the shit out of your kid without cursing. Did you know that? That's called discipline. You can play football and still be effectively and scare the shit out of them without killing them the way the teams did in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. Just play football. That's Miami problem. They're trying to be something that they're not. Half of them damn kids weren't even born when that shit was there. Because the culture is talking to them. We need to bring the full 5 boys back. No, you don't.
Well, if you look at what they're saying here is that Miami's upgraded the quarterback position with Washington State quarterback Cameron Ward. He threw for 6,966 yards with 61 touchdowns in 2 seasons with the Cougars. They're looking at the safety, Michelle Powell out of Washington, the defensive lineman, Elijah Austin out of Marshall, and Marlon Cook out of Middle Tennessee were nice pickups on the defense. The Hurricanes signed a number 6 recruiting class, according to ESPN Recruiting. But first game of the season is set for Saturday, August 31st at Florida University at Ben Griffin Stadium. So Miami gets there right off the bat, goes up into Griffin.
I mean, across the board, it looks like the first 4 weeks, either you're going to get that business handed to you early, or they giving you, we're going to let you ease on into it. You can just walk on these Legos right now before you walk on them thumbtacks in the next room barefoot.
Well,
I don't think nobody has it real easy coming out the gate the first 4 weeks.
Well, if you look at Miami's first 4 weeks, they got the Gators on the first game of the season. They got Florida A&M the second, Ball State the third, and South Florida is their 4th game. The 5th game is Virginia Tech. They go to California. They go to Louisville, play Florida State, Duke. And then they go to Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, and then go to Syracuse to finish out the season. That's Miami's schedule. No.
That's not easy. Across the board, I try to keep it on the top 10 or the top 25. I'm not looking at all them damn teams right there. Just the top 10, there's a national championship in there. In the top 10, there's definitely a national championship in there. The top 11 to 25, there's a surprise in there waiting to happen. There's more of one there. There's more of one there in that 20 to 25 to me, because that's when they make their biggest push. That 20 to 25 is that week 4 to 6 is when that's when that needle get to moving right there. That's when them horses get to coming right there. That 20 to 25, that week 4 or 6 right there is when they make their move.
Now, what interests me is in the number you talk about the top 10, number 7, Missouri Tigers. Missouri starts off with Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, and Vanderbilt their first 4 weeks. Then their conference schedule picks up at Texas A&M. You can go to UMass, you play Auburn, you go to Alabama, they go to South Carolina, Mississippi State, Arkansas, and then Oklahoma comes to them. So if you're looking at Missouri Tigers, do you see them picking up where they left off from last season?
I did not watch as many Mizzou games as I should have, but my good buddy Brandon, shout out to B, and a couple of Mizzou fans here in the neighborhood, Mr. Tunes and the counselor, have informed me about Mizzou's football team. They seem to have found the right coach that they need and wanted for this team. But again, there's some off-season situations going up that team with a few players as well. So I'm trying to see where they're at. I was shocked Mizzou. I had Mizzou coming in at number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I had them 8 in my preseason rankings, just based off last year and a little bit of knowledge of this year. Here's my top 10. I just did 10. I had Michigan, Washington, Texas, UGA, Bama, Florida State, Oregon, Mizzou, Ole Miss, and The Ohio State. That's what I had based on last year and a little bit what I knew about recruiting for this year.
Yeah, Luther Burton III is their top wide receiver, the junior out of St. Louis, Missouri. He stands at 5'11", 208 pounds. So,
that's a big one. If you get the size that you're looking for, every coach has a wish list, a dream sheet of the prototypical player that they want. And when you find it and they can do what you envision in your head, oh my goodness, it just makes the day and the play even that much greater. You're happy before the play even happens. They're like, what's wrong with that? Because I got what I wanted out there. That's what we all want. All coaches want that. They want the players that they have in their head prototypically to fit the mold of the players I put in there. Let's go. But they make it seem so fucking hard. The nightmares and stories I've been hearing about quarterbacks in the offseason here on these YouTube and podcasting networks and channels out here, the stories that they go through before the transfer portal, the nightmare they went through, the lies that was told to Cam Newton. Like, why? You have me in the house. Just tell me the truth. Why mess this thing up? We have all the pieces in the building right now to make a run at this thing for the next 4 or 5 years straight. But, Coach, you and your fucking feelings. That happens. That happens. And it's a shame that this happened. Grown men letting jealousy of a whole new level mess up the focal plan of winning. How does that even happen in today's time? How?
yeah, I don't know. Let me see here. Let's see here. Let me check some here. Okay. All right. Let's move right along here. We have the arguments of rebuilding or disbanding the Pac-12. I only got 2 teams for the Pac-12, Oregon State Beavers and the Washington State Cougars. That's it. Should they rebuild the Pac-12, and how should they rebuild the Pac-12? Should the Pac-12, even though they're playing a schedule with the Mountain West Conference this year, should the Mountain West Conference combine with and the American Athletic Conference, the ACC, all combine together to make the Pac-12?
What is the biggest discrepancy with the Pac-12 to you? Damn the teams. But with the Pac-12 itself in football, what's the biggest ordeal you think?
Right now, they only got 2 teams that ain't worth 2 cents anyway. Oregon State Beavers and the Washington State Cougars.
The games are late.
Yeah.
Games are late. You have to sell that to the gambling crowd. That the Pac-12 needs to be sponsored by gamblers, people that need that late night push for losing all their money earlier in the day. They need those late games. There has to be a better way to sell those games. We need somebody to sell this better than the person sold the preseason and the beginning of the WNBA. Hope that some bitch fired.
Well,
if you look at Pac-12, what's that?
If you look at it now, if you going to reestablish the Pac-12, they can't play late games because if they added the American Athletic Conference, most of those teams are on the East Coast.
So I'm saying where we're at now, what is the attraction to the Pac-12? That's my question. What is the attraction?
There's no attraction. They should, to me, in my opinion, I think they should disband the Pac-12, move Oregon State or Washington Cougars out of either to the Mountain West or add them into some other conference and disband the Pac-12 because the Pac-12 ain't gonna be the same no more.
They lost their what about the Pac Atlantic? Do the Pac Atlantic 20?
Yeah, you could.
That's a whole different TV deal. Speaking of TV deals, who does the CW have the Big Ten network? Did I read that correctly? That the CW network has the Big Ten? No, that must be the Big 12 they have. Because the Big Ten is on Fox Sports. So I'm thinking they got the Big 12.
No, what I just pulled up here on the internet here. Let me pull it up on the internet. The CW network is the home of the ACC, the Pac-12 football, inside of the NFL, Live Golf League, and more. WWE NXT moves to CW in October 11th, beginning in 2025. So they'll have the ACC and the Pac-12. And the Pac-12 this year is playing the Mountain West Conference. So their two teams are going to play in the Mountain West.
They're struggling. They need a star player. They need somebody to save the Pac-12. They need somebody to have one of those seasons that he got to ignite people, not just on the field, off the field. And I hate to say this, and social media. He got to be one of those guys.
But, I mean, if you look at it now, if you look at this too, Washington has lost the Washington State rivalry. Really, that rivalry is going to have to play an overall game if they're going to keep that rivalry going. And same thing with Oregon State and Oregon. The Civil War out there in the West. They're going to be playing the overall game. It's not calling for a conference game no more. So does that playing overall as a conference team and a rivalry, is that going to take away from the rivalry? Because you're looking at that rivalry where those teams are knocking off the other teams and moving up into the rankings. Now it really doesn't matter because they're not in the conference no more.
I blame Major League Baseball for this dumb shit. They've taken away the rivalry. When they did interleague, they took so many things away for the baseball fan. And what I hate to say now in college football, those rivalries that we were loving, it's time to create some new ones. It's time to create some new. I never thought I'd be that guy to simply understand how this wave is going. If we don't get on and ride it, we're going to get knocked off our damn board. And that's called boogie boarding when we need to surf. And it's telling us to create new rivalries. It can be done. Look at these kids at these games, man. The production of fans, the creativity, where these schools are coming out, these players, the plays. There's so much more out there. We can't get stuck on these old rivalries. They're over with. I want more than Georgia, Florida. It was fun. It'll never be the way it used to be. Never be that way. I want to create a new rivalry. I want to talk some shit about somebody else's mama. Other jokes are getting old. By now, everybody has slept with a family member.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at rivalries and you look at the passion of college football, it's gone out the windows with the realignment now. Because you're gonna have to have new rivalries in the Big Ten, the SEC. Because I mean, that's gonna be just Texas got that rivalry stayed with Oklahoma because now they're still in the SEC, and that rivalry right there is gonna still you can knock either Texas or Oklahoma out of the playoff picture in that rivalry game. So that's the one rivalry that's going to stay the same. You got the Duke and Carolina rivalry that's going to stay the same. You got NC State and Carolina rivalry is going to stay the same. But the Oregon and Oregon State rivalry is not going to be the same no more because they're not playing in the conference together. So that's what I look at.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. But those rivalries, man, I mean, that was some good ones, Ray. That was some kids don't even have no idea how it was back then. How remotely close. These people tailgated on Wednesdays. These kids now start tailgating Saturday mornings. Who does that? You're a late bloomer. You tailgate on Wednesdays at a real rivalry.
I mean, you still got the Michigan Ohio State rivalry is going to be intact. You got the Texas Oklahoma rivalry is intact. The Alabama and Auburn rivalry is going to be intact. Carolina Duke rivalry is intact. Carolina and NC State rivalry is intact. You got those rivalries are going to stay intact because they're playing in the conference together. It's just now you're taking the lackluster out of the Oregon State and Oregon rivalry due to the fact that they're not playing in the same conference, so that's not going to have the same meaning. So now Oregon's going to have to find another rivalry in the Big Ten conference that will make them, in a competitive, and that could be that Ohio State, Oregon battle. You might see that as becoming a potentially rivalry in the Big Ten. Right. So I mean, to me, with the Pac-12, I think the Pac-12 should just disband. I think they should move Washington State, and Oregon State out of there, move them somewhere like in the Mountain West or something, and disband the whole entire Pac-12 because the Pac-12 hasn't lost its lackluster. You lost all your championship. The motto of Pac-12 is what? Championship, League of Champions.
To make it that, but see, that's the thing. So, we can't reinvent the wheel. It's already there. They have to learn to move forward. What we have right now, can we move forward what we have and make it better? Concentrate on what we have now and improve it year by year. Going backwards is not going to improve shit. So the Pac-12 needs to understand that. Stop being selfish. Understand how this money will work. You're not giving in. You're understanding the changing of the times. Extension cords were the shit back in the day, but I'd sure take a drop cord with motherfucking 12 outlets on any day of the week.
Yeah, and then
doing the same job looks good though.
Yeah, with Tony, he said here the Bedlam rivalry is between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State is ending because OU moved to SEC. So I mean, all this stuff is just like freaking. Now you got to start new rivalries between some of these other things, and that's really going to hurt Oklahoma State and Oklahoma rivalry too. It's going to hurt that rivalry because
we think so. We think so, but these new breed of fans that are coming in, that 12-year-old to 30-year-old, that new breed right there, they're bringing something to the fans, to the experience, to the game, and to the culture that we've never seen before. They're bringing enthusiasm. They're bringing more people with them. They're bringing a hit parade with them. It's no more just two people going to a football game and you and your bud. It's you and your crew. You got alumni hooking up. You got bros you done met through the job, through the military reconnect, social media, the different platforms. Oh, finally, we get to finally hang out. Look at all the sports podcasters that you know and don't know of that have a collegiate football affiliation out there. I'm quite sure these guys are getting together more than ever due to the way these schedules now are. It's broadening the conversation of, are they going to play this game again? This should be a rivalry. They should do this every year. And it gets better and better and better. And in 10 years, we got ourselves an old-fashioned rivalry that started back in 2024. Watch. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
All right. Yeah, true. So we're going to take another quick break here for our last topic of the day. We're going to do the 2-hour show, be leading all the way up to I think it's August. I think we go to the 3-hour show starting in August.
30th? The morning.
Yeah. Well, the August. Yeah, the 29th. Yeah, the 31st of August would be our 3-hour show. So we're going to go up 2 hours all the way up to.
Okay.
August 31st will be our 3 hour.
These are going to be 2-hour shows leading up to the 30th, right?
Up to the 31st of August.
31st is a 2-hour show, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, the 31st of August will be the 3-hour show. That's when the first start of the 3.
Yeah, the 3-hour. That's the day we start the 3-hour. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have my next trip, the 11th to the 13th, I believe. And
yeah, you'll be back. Yeah, I can see
the 20th to the 27th.
Yeah, the 10th. The 10th we won't be doing a show, so you're good without that trip. The 17th you'll be back. Then the 24th you'll be gone because you're on your trip. What, the 21st to the 27th?
I'll take my laptop with me. I'm gonna take my work with me because that's the college show. But yeah. I don't start my season until September 2nd.
So it's a 2-hour show today, 2-hour show the 17th, 2-hour show the 24th, and then the 3-hour show starts the 31st.
So no show the 3rd or the 10th?
No, we're gonna do a show tomorrow, the 3rd, not the 10th. 10th will be.
The 3rd we're doing the show. The 17th, the 24th, The 31st
And
is the real deal.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha.
That is the schedule for what we're going to do.
So that one there, the 31st should be the new shit for the new season. The logo that you create for the new season. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna sit down. I'll sit down with you, and we'll go over what the new logo should look like, and we'll go from there.
Word.
Try to keep it up. Try to spruce it up a little bit.
Yeah. I just came from down your area too, by the way.
Did you?
I was down in Wilmington.
Home where Michael Jordan was born was raised.
Wilmington looks different, man. I haven't been down there. I've never been, other than I was a truck driver, just went to drop off freight and come back. Never hung out down there or anything. And my buddy used to play on that show, Dawson's Creek. Shout out to Thomas and Charlotte with the green eyes, my dude, my homie.
Yeah, they made swordfish.
Cape Fear. Yeah.
Yeah, they made swordfish there too with John Travolta and Holly Berry.
Yeah. Beautiful town. I could get used, man. I've done so much on this vacation. This 3.5 month break I've been on. I've been to the lake. I think I want to move to the lake in the off season. I could get used to the boat life. And now this RV trailer world is just, I've always been fascinated by RVs, but this trailer situation, went camping instead at this campsite, and this guy had a trailer. He brought his house. This thing was so long. And the thing of it is, man, these guys were young. Nobody was over the age of 45. These guys out here living, having fun, having toys, man. Catch and release fishing, sleeping in the tent, doing shrooms, looking up at the sky. Vacation, man.
My goal is one day to have an RV where I can go around and we can do these shows at different colleges. That's my goal.
I want to go to a different town each day, meet interesting people, do a show, eat some food, have a drink, go on to the next town. I want to do that for like the entire off season, on the road with Dre in an RV. Just go to these, but I want to camp the whole time.
Oh yeah, I mean, my
military discount pitch tent.
My goal is to have an RV where we can go and take our show on the road to different places.
That's it, man. You want me in your town? Tell me where. What we eating? What time's dinner? Where can I park at?
All right, let's keep moving right along to our last topic here. Our last topic for today is, who is your favorite to win the 2024-2025 NCAA National Championship this season? Early pick. This ain't where we're not gonna lock you into this pick. This is the early preseason pick.
This off the cuff. This is that. What would you do at this moment, Trey? If you walk in a house and saw a PlayStation 5 in Holly Berry, which one you grabbing first? The PlayStation 5. I got Oregon winning, man. The Ducks.
You got the Ducks?
I got the Ducks. That's my early. My oldest son, he's a big fan of them. Early favorite. This is the earliest I've ever talked about college football. You got me this year. You got me.
Yeah. Wow. I'm looking
going out of town. That's the only reason I did it, because you're going out of town to do something with your church.
August 10th.
I like talking football in August. But I can't talk NFL until August. It's something wrong with me.
Yeah. Well, my early pick right now, if I had to go right now with the early pick, I'm trying to titter with it, but I'm going to pick a surprise team. I think the Missouri Tigers will pull the biggest upset in college football and become a national champion winner this season.
What did you just say? Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest.
What did you just say? I picked my early pick. I'm going with a surprise. Missouri Tigers. I think they're going to do some big things. I think they're going to come with some major upset. And I think they can win the national championship this season.
Oh, my God. You just said Mizzou's going to win a national championship.
That's my early pick.
My dude, Luther Burden. Who? Luther Burden. The burden of Luther. Luther Burden.
That's my early pick.
You pick Mizzou to win the thing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Man,
Early pick.
That's pulling one. That is wow. I guess that's why people look at me crazy when I tell them my World Series predictions. Like, what? Really?
Who you have for the World Series?
I got the Cardinals taking on the Orioles.
Oh.
And then in my other one, I got the Padres and the Cleveland Guardians.
Nah, that's kind of.
I don't think the Yankees or the Mets are they're not ready for that smoke, man. They're not ready. They're not taking it serious enough.
Well, baseball, Braves are down right now.
Acuna got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt. Yeah, then Albies is hurt.
That boy was healthy till he got engaged, then he got married. He got engaged, got hurt. He got married, he got hurt.
Yeah, the Braves overtook the Mets overtook the Braves in second place in the National League East. So who you got winning the World Series now?
I don't have a winner. I just have those matchups. I got the Cardinals against the Orioles or the Padres against the Guardians.
Baltimore right now is 2 games over the Yankees. The Guardians are 4.5 over the Minnesota Twins. Mm-hmm. The Padres are second place. They're 6.5.
Yeah.
Behind the Dodgers right now.
And that's our old manager from St. Louis is coaching the Padres. Manager of the year, by the way.
Yeah, and then Cleveland is 4.5 games ahead of Minnesota. And
they got Terry Francona, who can coach anybody.
Yeah.
How does he do that? How do you find him, La Russa, Jim Leland, Phil Jackson? Who else can I put out there? Jacques Demers, Mike Keenan. Those guys have a different pedigree in them about identifying skills in people and utilizing them to fit your scheme. They win everywhere they go. Everywhere they've been, playoff. I don't know how Terry Francona does it. Nobody knew who that team was, but two players on that team when they changed the name of that team. Yeah. They had the highest on-base percentage last year. Last year, I was all over them in money-wise, all over them. They took more pitches than anybody in baseball. They were not first pitch swinging. No. They were taking pitch. They were wearing pitchers out last year. They were winning last year. Now they got that eye. They need one big name. One. I don't know who. I wish they would have got homeboy from the Rays. Azarenka.
Yeah. So, I mean, we got football. We got you talking football early this season. Last time it was like in middle of August when you came on board.
Yeah.
Now we got you at the beginning. So we get you this week, next week. We take a week off, and then I'll get you back on that following week, and then you'll take your week off. And then boom, we're back on it on the 31st at 3 hours. So we get this week, next week, and then we get the middle week of August, and then the second week of August, I'm gone. And then the fourth week of August, you're gone. So
what was I gonna say? Do you have the new college football game?
Yes, I do.
What do you think of it?
You can't play no defense.
You can't?
Nope, defense is sorry. Defense is sorry on this game, man. It's like, dude, the computer can play defense on you, but
the AI ain't no joke, man.
If you playing defense, man,
I haven't played the game yet.
Somebody scores in my game. I won one game 82-81.
What the? Who do you play with?
I play with North Carolina.
And are you doing the road, or are you just going online?
I'm doing the dynasty.
The dynasty. So how do you like the recruiting?
It's still the same as the 2014 model type deal, but you gotta. If certain things when you recruit, you gotta unlock certain things like a schedule visit. You gotta unlock that. This it's not like giving it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta have them up to an interest, and then they'll unlock it. Then you can schedule them for a visit. And he's like, I lost out like 5 of my top 5 players I had on my thing, and I lost out because they don't pick because I couldn't get unlocked to come visit me yet.
Yeah, you got to do so much stuff.
Yeah.
And so by the time I get it, because I'm gonna get it in October, because I have to go on these 2 trips, and then I got some equipment to buy for my show, because I'm doing a whole upgrade of my website and logo and graphics and all that. So I'm gonna buy it for myself in October as a birthday present to myself. So I'm gonna get it in October. So
yeah, they had a big update just released on it.
I've been watching all the patches and all that, the glitches, the data network shut down, the videos everybody posts on TikTok about don't play Heisman. People who've never played the game that over 45, oh my God, they're cracking me up with these videos.
Yeah, I got one guy. I've seen one guy on there. He's like, I played it. I don't like it. And they have one guy. I seen one guy on YouTube. He posted a video of him throwing his TV out the window.
This guy said, I paid $70 for this game, and I get pulled at the one snap, and I'm out for the whole year. Then the next year, I get into a game, and I snap the ball at halftime. I don't play again my senior year.
But this one guy was funny. He's like, he showed a picture of him in Oregon running the option, and him and the guy is like parallel where you're supposed to pitch the ball. He pitched the ball, goes through the guy's arm all the way to the 1 yard line, and the other team picks it up and scores a touchdown.
Oh my goodness!
And then the passing, you got to lead your receiver. You lead your receiver too far to get intercepted. If you don't throw it on time, they don't catch it.
But I saw some guy go online and say how you can adjust that.
Yeah, you can go on. You can adjust the sliders if you want to.
Yeah. On the throw.
Yeah.
I think it's getting everybody in the phase. In '93, Madden came out with that window, the passing window that they stole from Joe Montana football.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah. So it's like that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting it, man. I can't wait to game out. I'm looking forward to it, playing with my sons and just going hard.
It's back. I'm glad it's back out because now I ain't got to worry about playing Madden. Madden's oversaturated.
I tell you what, I'm experiencing something for the very first time at MLB The Show. I'm playing the season where you have these goals to get through and all that. You can bring up players, put them down. You got to do trades and all that.
Yeah.
And I took on, right before baseball season started, I saw the story about the Oakland Athletics, and it pissed me off as a fan with the way they did those people. So I said, I'm going to play with the Athletics. Do you know I'm in the wild card game right now against the Yankees?
Wow, dude.
I play the Yankees in the wild card game. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. I'm like, and I picked them on the game just because of that story that I saw. They averaging 3,700 people at a game, but they get to go to Vegas now. They built them a new facility in Vegas.
Wow.
Oh. So with everything going on with the upbringing of upcoming season of college football in week 0, what are you looking forward to at the start of college football? What's something you're looking forward to?
Well, to me, looking forward to, I want to see how I just want to see how the new conference looks, how they come out and play. The first week, It's Florida State versus Georgia Tech. Conference game right off the bat. First game of the season. To me,
that's because Kirby, man, Kirby reads social media like a 12 to 30-year-old. He's on there. He doesn't respond because you listen to his press conference. You say to yourself, I saw that on Twitter. So somebody's telling him what's been said about that program. You know, like right now, it's the unvarying number of athletes on that UGA football team that have speeding tickets. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Over 70% of the players on UGA's football team have speeding tickets.
This is the thing I was talking about right here. The schedule week 1. Well, Saturday, August 24th is the start of the first football game. And let me see here. Let me go to Florida State's first game of the season. Make sure. Yeah, first game of the season of the 2024 season is Georgia Tech versus Florida State at 12 o'clock, ESPN, on the 24th. So the season starts actually on the 24th. So
looking forward to that.
That starts Wednesday. That starts off Wednesday, the 24th.
So they think they slick, right? You see what college football doing and the NFL. See, NFL is what, on Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But last year we had a Wednesday game, didn't we? In NFL.
Yeah, we had one because it got rained out or something. They had to move it to Wednesday.
Yeah, something happened. What, Christmas?
I forgot which one it was.
This year, Christmas on. Anywho, now you got college football. Now they're talking NFL talking about 18-game schedule. They're still talking about that shit. Now you got college football. They're going to expand these conferences. They got to expand the window of opportunity of winning. So that means what, boys and girls? Another game or two. So that gives up. Well, now we run out of time and days and space.
Yeah, the start of the season. The start of the season starts on Saturday, August 24th. So, are you gonna be out of town, right?
I'm gonna do the show from out of town.
All right, so that'll be our start of our 3-hour show, the 24th, because that's the first week of college football.
Yeah, I'll be in Charlotte, but I can do the show from there.
Yeah,
I can do the show from there, from the Cackalack.
Yeah, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 games. We have 4 games to talk about. Yeah, we have 4 games. 4 games to start off this season. Then the 29th will be a lot of games on the Thursday night, a lot of games on Friday night, and then a lot of games on Saturday. So college football back gets full swing on the 24th, baby.
It is, man. I cannot wait.
You get excited here for this thing here. So
it went by so fast.
Yeah. Now we're back on here. We're back on the All Sports, All Plays Network. Get our football pregame show started back up. We started today for 2 hours. We'll go on the 3rd for 2 hours. We'll be off the 10th because I won't be here. And then back 2 hours on the following weekend. And then the 3 hours on the 24th.
Where we can break down costume on the 24th. Be in full costume on the 24th.
Yes. You might want to stay with us on the 24th. He might pull out the gator head. You never know. He might have somebody who's got the gator costume. He might come out with the gator head.
Don't let me find Greg the Gator. Oh, it's on. It's already popping.
Oh.
I gotta find a good football watering hole to go to in Carolina to watch football while I'm down there.
Yeah, it's been a great show here today. Dre, been good to have you back here. Get it all started next week. We'll do some more talking about breaking down some of the conference a little bit more in depth. Beginning of the season. Then we'll take the break on the 10th. Come back on the following for 2 hours and break it down a little bit more. And then the 24th, we'll bring out the big dogs because the college football season will be here for 3 hours. So glad to see y'all back here on the All Sports All Plays Network. This is the All Sports All Plays College Breakdown. I'm Ray Cruz, and this is Dre. See you next time. See you next weekend.
Peace.
All sports, all sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.